Let's talk about some reasons why people might be hesitant or choose to ignore science. Here's some examples. The flat earthers. There are people that actually believe the earth is flat. Vaccinations cause autism. My flu vaccine gave me the flu. Man never landed on the moon. Climate change isn't real. The hollow earth conspiracy, chemtrails, etc. These are what we call conspiracy theories. And in most cases, there is some part of the theory, and by theory I mean hypothesis, that requires some nefarious background group that is controlling information so that you can't produce any real evidence to support it. This is collectively referred to as pseudoscience. It has two characteristics. Number one, how do you know if it's pseudoscience? Well, if it has an untestable hypothesis, it cannot be counted as science. All science is based on testable hypotheses. If there is an aspect of the belief that people are trying to use to counter scientific fact, and it has any aspect of it is untestable, then it is not alternate science. It can be alternate beliefs, but it's not science. And if it relies on logical fallacies to promote itself over true scientific fact. A logical fallacy is an argument that really doesn't do anything to support one's own side and doesn't do anything to provide real data. It is just a semantic game that is used to sway people in an argument. It really doesn't provide anything substantive. Now, if you use logical fallacies to support your point, that doesn't mean your point's wrong. It just means you failed to support it with any real data. Now, belief. Belief is accepting as true something that can't be tested, has absolutely no data to support it. A belief by its very nature can't have data to support it, or it wouldn't be a belief. Beliefs are always based on untestable hypotheses. This is a matter of semantics. You don't believe in scientific topics. You either accept them or you reject them. Belief doesn't enter the equation when it comes to science. So am I insulting beliefs? No. Science can't be used to determine the validity of a belief system based upon untestable hypotheses. It's also important to understand that just because a hypothesis is untestable or non-scientific doesn't mean it's incorrect, wrong, or bad. So if a scientist says, well, that's not science, and you're like, well, I want it to be science. Well, I'm sorry, it's based on a non-testable hypothesis. We're not saying that your belief is wrong or bad. We're just saying it's not science. It doesn't make judgments. Science doesn't affect anything that's good or bad. Now, science can be used for bad, but it can also be used for good. How it's used is based upon the people using it, not the actual facts. For example, when science determined that the Earth was not the center of the universe around which everything orbited, that wasn't good or bad, it was just a fact. Only people and their beliefs put a good or bad label on those facts. The result is that just because someone says that something is not science, that does not mean they are saying it is bad or even wrong. Now, there's actual research done on this topic of why people don't buy into science, don't accept it. And this is an interesting link that you can go to and watch a little comic book, if you will, that is used to explain this process. But to sum it all up, I'm going to talk about the Dunning-Kruger effect. Now, this was a study that was done, and what it shows here is confidence versus knowledge. Okay? Generally speaking, the people who are 100% confident that they are right generally don't have a whole lot of data or experience or knowledge to back it up. Basically, this says the less that you know about something, the more confident that your opinion or belief is correct. The best scientists tend to be very conservative in the sense that we are more than willing to explain or accept that there are aspects we don't know. There are questions we can't answer. Someone on this end who really doesn't know what they're talking about will display tremendous amounts of hubris, in which they will state uncategorically that they are 100% correct and we know exactly what we're talking about and you can trust us. And they are so self-confident, it makes it very easy to sway other people who have that same level of knowledge. You know, it's sort of like that saying, there's nothing more dangerous than a little knowledge, because it can lead to a lot of really bad things.